Have you ever heard of a man so wicked that God himself removed him from the earth? No warning, no trial, no second chance. He simply vanished by divine command. The Bible sums up his story in a single sentence, but behind that brief verse lies a powerful and forgotten plot that forever marked the lineage of the Messiah. Today, you're going to uncover the shocking story of Er, the man God struck down. Welcome to the portal of salvation. Get ready to dive into one of the darkest and most impactful narratives in Scripture. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and stay with me until the end. Because today, God has something revealing to show you, a principle that can transform your view on privilege, responsibility, and purpose. Share this video with someone who needs to understand how even our failures can serve God's glory. Let's uncover why Er's story, though short, carries one of the greatest lessons about God's character. To understand Er's significance, we need to go back in time and look at the setting where it all began. We're in the era of the patriarchs, long before kings, prophets, or the law of Moses. Judah, the fourth son of Jacob, is a name of great weight. He was a direct descendant of Abraham and would one day become the ancestor of King David and of Jesus Christ himself. Abraham fathered Isaac, Isaac fathered Jacob, Jacob fathered Judah, and Judah fathered Er, the firstborn, the heir to the promises, the living link in the divine covenant. But as we'll see, privilege without character leads to destruction. And what happened to Er didn't just change his family, it altered the destiny of an entire nation. It all begins with a controversial decision from Judah. He separates from his brothers and goes to live among the Canaanites, breaking with the traditions of faith. There, he marries the daughter of a man named Shua, a Canaanite woman. This wasn't just a marriage, it was a fusion of spiritual alliances. The Canaanites followed pagan gods and abominable rituals. Abraham had forbidden marriages with that people. Even so, Judah joined his sacred lineage to an idolatrous culture. And it was in this divided environment that Er was born. Genesis 38 verse 3 says, "She conceived and gave birth to a son and named him Er." As the firstborn, Er carried not only his father's inheritance, but the weight of leading God's promise forward. He wasn't just any son. He was chosen to continue the messianic line. But instead of spiritual vigilance, the meaning of his name in Hebrew, he displayed deep blindness. Judah found him a wife, Tamar, a woman whose name means palm tree, a symbol of righteousness and uprightness. But their marriage revealed something alarming. The Bible gets straight to the point. Er, Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death. Genesis 38 verse 7. Nothing more, no details, no defense, just a verdict. He was wicked, and God killed him, the first man in the Bible to be directly struck down by God. But what did Er do that was so terrible? Scripture doesn't say, and maybe that's the greatest lesson. The silence reveals that God sees what no one else can, the depths of the heart. And when judgment comes, it's because the evil has reached a point of no return. The Midrash, an ancient Jewish tradition, suggests that Er committed the same sin as his brother Onan, spilling his seed to prevent Tamar's pregnancy, maybe out of vanity, to preserve his wife's beauty, maybe out of sheer selfishness. Other scholars believe he brought Canaanite idolatry into his household. Some go even further and suggest he abused Tamar. The Bible confirms none of these theories. But one thing is clear: Er failed as heir to promise, and God would not tolerate it. The consequence? The messianic lineage was at risk. And then an ancient law comes into play, the law of levirate marriage. When a man died childless, his brother was to marry the widow and produce offspring in the deceased's name. Judah tells his second son, Onan, to fulfill this duty. But Onan refuses to raise a child that wouldn't bear his own name and spills his seed on the ground. Once again, selfishness speaks louder. And once again, God intervenes. But what he did was wicked in the Lord's sight. So he put him to death also. Genesis 38 verse 10. 2 deaths, 2 brothers, 2 judgments. Judah's family is falling apart, and God's plan is under threat. Judah has a third son, Shelah, but fearing he might lose him too, he deceives Tamar, promising that she'll marry Shelah when he grows up, but he never follows through. Tamar waits and waits, but Judah never fulfills his promise. And Tamar remains a widow, childless, hopeless. The story of Er reminds us that privilege without responsibility can lead to ruin, and that God takes seriously the calling he places upon each of us. But it also shows us that even when everything seems lost, God can use unlikely people, like Tamar, to fulfill his eternal purposes. If this story spoke to you in any way, if it made you reflect on God's character, on his promises, and how he moves even in the silence, then don't leave without subscribing to this channel. Turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the upcoming stories. And share this video with someone who needs to understand that God can even use human failure to carry out a perfect plan. See you in the next video. May God bless your life powerfully.